It could be argued that Mick O'Dwyer is Kerry's most famous son. He was born here in Waterville 50 years ago, and he's made his life in the village. That is, when he's not in Killarney training the Kerry team or in Croke Park winning All-Irelands. Mick married the girl from across the road and they now have 4 sons. The couple celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary just 3 weeks ago. As Mick himself says, football is a tradition in Kerry, a way of life, and as a young lad there wasn't much in Waterville to distract him from it.
Well, it started here, I suppose, in Waterville at the local primary school. There was a teacher here at the time by the name of Donald Kennedy from, I think he was a Galway man at the time. He was the man, I think, that really got me really interested in the game. But I think I was interested in the game from the day I got out of the cradle, I would say. Because as you know, Gaelic football is part and parcel of Kerry and Kerry people, I suppose. There was another man that came to teach here in the local primary school, Sean McCarthy. He was a local man himself, born and reared here, and he had been teaching in Dublin for years. He came back to teach here in Saint Finian's, and he was the man, I think, that was really responsible for me getting on to the Kerry minor team of 1954.
Michael Dwyer takes a Kerry.
In November 1956, Mick O'Dwyer played for the senior team for the first time. His last game was 18 years later. He won his first All-Ireland medal in 1959.
Kerry were not now to be stopped, and Mick O'Dwyer added this neat point immediately after Don McCaulife's first goal.
Being selected on the Kerry senior football team was the real top point in my life, because I was the first Waterville man to be selected on the Kerry senior football team. And winning my first All-Ireland title in 1959, that was a great thrill for me. I suppose that's something I will always remember and something that's very special to me.
There can't be many people who know the Sam Maguire Cup as well as Mick O'Dwyer. As a player and manager, he's been involved in 19 All-Ireland finals, finishing on the winning side 12 times. Taking home the cup, though, wasn't always straightforward, as in that 59 final.
And we played Galway in that All-Ireland final. Cup was presented in Croke Park, and well, then we got into the dressing rooms, and the captain on that occasion was Mick O'Connell, and Mick, I think, decided to go home on that evening, and he went off by train, and I was the vice captain at the time. So to be honest, I never even thought about the cup. I don't think anybody involved in the team even thought about it. So we went to the reception that night, and would you believe it, the cup was missed at the reception. So the following morning, we had a discussion in the lounge, and somebody just asked, where was the Sam Maguire Cup? So I said maybe Mick took it back to Villancy with him. So somebody said that he was seen getting on the train anyway, and there wasn't any cup. So somebody decided to ring Croke Park, and Sean O'Shea, I think was the General Secretary at the time. And Sean, after a while anyway, admitted that the cup was collected in the dressing room. We left it behind us in the dressing room, believe it or believe it not, after winning an All-Ireland final.
Worked so hard to get it.
That's true, yeah. But there are some of the things that have happened, you know.
Mick O'Dwyer took over as manager of the Kerry team in 1975. His record since then is unrivalled, 10 finals in 12 years, and Kerry won 8 of those.
He's after winning £100 in the lottery. He's after winning 100 in the lottery. Timmy!
It's this success that has turned Mick O'Dwyer into a legendary figure, and not just in Kerry but throughout the country. Mick himself says he can't understand why.
Locally here in this area, I'm just Mick O'Dwyer to everybody, all and sundry. And I don't think maybe when I get out of Kerry, maybe then people recognise me for what I am and the success that I've had. But I've just been lucky. I've just arrived, I think, at a very, very good time in Kerry football. There was a great young talent coming on stream when I took over the team, and I was lucky that I took over under 21 teams, and I built the team from there. You know, we won 3 under 21s to start, and then I think that's the team we've got at the moment. Legends and all that type of stuff, I don't even think about those things actually. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just Mick O'Dwyer, and I train Kerry teams, and I have success, and I get great enjoyment out of it. That's the reason why I'm involved, no other reason.
There are many counties who would love to have the Kerry record of success. Kerrymen themselves, though, demand a lot from their footballers. And perhaps that's the secret of the success.
Well, I think there was no bigger valley than the valley that I was involved in myself as a player. We went from 1962 to 69 without winning an All-Ireland title. And that was a very, very barren period for Kerry football.
You didn't win an All-Ireland final between 62 and 69, only 7 years. Now, there's many another country would be quite happy if they got one every 7 years. Do you think the expectations are a bit too high, maybe?
They are a little bit too high, I can tell you, and they will be a lot higher now after this run of success here. But many heads rolled in that period, you know, when things start to go wrong in this county. No matter, you're as good as your last game, and they start thinking about, I think we should get rid of this fella and that fella. You know, and I think, well, maybe that's good for the game. You know, it keeps you on your toes and you have to keep working at it all the time.
Mick O'Dwyer gives a huge amount of time to football, and on top of that he has his family, and he runs 2 hotels in Waterville. Have you ever felt over the years that, you know, I'd like a weekend at home, I'd like to give it up for a little while?
Yes, and my family and my wife especially. She often wonders what all this football is about. You know, she's interested, all right, to a degree, but believe it or believe it not, she has been in Croke Park on one occasion. That was in 1964 when we played Galway. She has never been there since. But she often wonders and she can't understand it, you know, and I suppose a lot of people would think that way, but I'm completely addicted to the game and I have been over the years. If I'm not involved with Kerry on a given Sunday, it's amazing. I'm involved with Waterville or South Kerry or any other day, then I'm free or whatever. I'm a sportsman to all intents and purposes. If I'm not involved with football, I play golf or I do a bit of fishing.
And you're still actually training with the Kerry team? You'll tug off and have
I tug out and I exercise with them regularly, and I do the same with the local club here, Waterville.
I hear you're still a hard man to get a ball off. Naturally, Kerry are confident for 1987, but how long can this run of success continue?
We will go through a valley, there's no question or doubt about that, but the valley, I don't think, we won't go too low in that valley. I think we'll be always there and thereabout. There's a tradition in this county here of Kerry, and I think we'll always be able to produce good Gaelic footballers. You know, we're a lot of sports writers, and you know, have compared us with the Liverpools and the Welsh rugby teams and what have you. Well, I think there is a big tradition for Gaelic football in this county. It's primarily the biggest sport in Kerry. And I think it's the game that will always be big in Kerry, and I think we will always produce good footballers out of this county.
The future, of course, depends on young Kerrymen being able to stay in the county, or at least in Ireland. Mick, himself an employer, sees every day young people forced to emigrate. He has his own ideas about a remedy.
It was only last Sunday I was down here in the football field and our local club were playing, and we had to play 2 young lads there, one fella of 13 years of age and the other fella of 15. So that will prove to you like the big problem we're having in this locality here. Immigration has been rampant here over the past 2 years. No employment whatsoever available to the people here. And I suppose if you'd look around us here, we have the best natural resources, I would say, not alone in Europe but in the world here off our coast. We must have the best fishing grounds in the world, and that is a recognised fact. We get the Spanish fishing fleets and the French and the Germans and the Russians coming in here, and we've got no fishing policy whatsoever in this country. I think it's crazy.
And so Mick O'Dwyer, footballer, hotelier and musician, is Kerryman of the Year. In Waterville there's no shortage of people who think he deserves it.